In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of launching Adobe Dreamweaver through the remote access through your portal at My Loyalist. Once you're logged into My Loyalist, just go over to the Remote Access Computer Lab and click on that. And just click Connect with My Loyalist. That should bring you to a screen that has a number of available computers that you can see here with these green lines. Just select any one of them. I'm just going to select that one, I guess, and click Join. It will launch the ConnectWise software, and if you don't have it, it will prompt you to install it. So do install it, and then it will allow you to run the software, or rather run through this portal to access the lab at the computer at the college. So I'm going to click on this now. I'm actually on a remote computer from home. So I click on it, and I need to log in as if I was sitting at a computer at the school. So I'm just going to use my login and password. Okay, and I'll log in. And some of these may take sometimes a few minutes actually to log in and so on. So we'll just have to be patient when we're going through this step. Okay, at this time I can see the desktop, so I'm actually logged in and I can work as if I'm on a computer at Loyalist College. So there's a little trick with using Adobe Dreamweaver through the Apps to You, and it's a little fussy. It needs to basically run by itself. So I would say open Cloudpaging Player first. And I can see here that I was running it before, and you can have these two things open. Typically you might see nothing here. If you see other apps, and in particular other Adobe apps, highlight them and remove them here. So I'm going to leave this as is, because I was here before already, so it remembered that I was here and has these ready. And I'll go to Apps to You, and I will launch Dreamweaver. If Cloudpaging asks you to increase the cache size, click Yes on it. Now, when you do this for the first time, including the Cloudpaging section, you may wait a minute or two for each step. But here I go. Here's Dreamweaver. I'm going to launch it now. And again, because I had done this once before, it's going very quickly actually. So let me just minimize Dreamweaver on the desktop here for a second. And it was successful. So I'm good to go. I can see the green arrow here. It's running. I'm just going to minimize my browser window. And when you're launching Dreamweaver, I'm just going to remind you, this is not your desktop at home. It's a remote access. So everything you need to import, you'd have to do it through the desktop, as well as creating your root folders and so on. And I'll just remind you also, when logging out, copy your root folders to your own drives, your M drives or the P drive, or zip it up and email it to yourself, because once you log out of here, you will lose that work. It will not be on the desktop when you come back. So I'm going to create a folder right now on the desktop. I'm just going to call it root. Okay, so it's just an empty folder, but that's what I want to designate as my root folder when starting a site in Dreamweaver, which is what you should always do when you're starting in Dreamweaver. Now, I'm noticing these pop-ups for the cloud are popping up here as well. You might need to go to settings and turn off notifications. I think it's going to pop up a few times through this demo, then it settles down. But let me just start by creating a new site, which is what I should do when launching Dreamweaver. So if you already have an existing site, which you will need throughout this course, you will copy that existing root folder to the desktop on this remote access. And let me just close this here. Then you will go to your new site settings, and I'm just going to call this, yes, that's going to happen here right now because it wants us to update, and I'm just going to ignore it for now. Test site, and browse on my desktop for that root. Set that as my folder, save it, and now whatever folder I have here, I would see the contents. Okay, and actually let me go to this, to my settings. and see if I can turn that off. If I have trouble with this, you can figure it out on your own, I'm sure, or we could work it out in a classroom session. Okay, notifications, here we go. Notifications and actions. All right, let me just turn that off there, and I think that should do it. Okay, so if I was to create a new file, just another quick little thing. If I'm creating a new file, you want to save it right away. So I'm going to go File, Create New. And I'll just call this Test Page. That's the title, not the file name. And you should always do a save as immediately and save it in your root folder. And you can see site root right here. And I'm going to call it index.html. Index.html. Oops, I already had the .html. There we go. And hit save. So now I have a file that is saved in my root folder. And if I collapse this again, I'll just show you that root folder does contain the file. So that is how you should launch Dreamweaver when working with the remote access through the Loyalist portal. I believe once you've done it once, it should be a lot quicker after you come back to it again. Okay, so again, those are the instructions on how to launch Adobe Dreamweaver using the Apps to You hub when using the remote access portal. And there you have it.